Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of Airy Sky Rita Lee's video blog. I took a minute today. Sassy would usually, tell me to take my time, etc., etc. Excuse me. I'm still in my jammies this morning, as usual. You know me, I'm in my jammies. So a lot of you out there have been wondering about another round of stimulus checks. A lot of people say, hey, Rita, what's going on with another round of stimulus checks? Well, I'll tell you. Another round. Nothing. President Trump, I'll get to him in a minute, and I'll get to Pelosi, and I'll get to Schumer, and I'll get to the other things going on in the world today. And I'll get to other things, like this has been an interesting week, okay? So for all of you wondering, I've started something new today in my my channel. And that is, I've decided to try something called StreamYard. I'm using StreamYard right now, okay? Which isn't bad. I'm getting used to it, okay? I had to play around with the controls this morning just to see what's going on. So, anyways, you guys are probably wondering, so, I got a couple updates for you on that, So, anyways, let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? All right, so first of all, unemployment. Chloe, I'm starting to like this actually. Hold on a sec. I'm still new to this StreamYard, so I want to check my channel real quick. All right, so. Oh, so it is working. Sweet. Cool. Awesome. Totally cool. So, anyways, as you all know, unemployment benefits has not been discussed yet at all. Zero. Zippity, zappity, zilchity. Zero. Son of a bitch. Don't give a shit about that. Hold on a sec. I'm trying to email someone real quick. So people turned around and they're not getting anywhere. People are freaking furious. They're going to vote out Trump. So what's that tell you? It tells me that, well, hello, Gail. What's this? Huh. Well, I'm trying this new program out, Gail. It's called StreamYards. So what you do is you download it, right? And then I can invite other people into the video with me to converse about politics and benefits and stimulus checks. What do you think? Would you really like to be on a debate? Well, isn't that cool? So so basically I'm running this program. Okay, sorry, I'm still learning this. It comes up with things. Okay, isn't that cool? So I can bring people in, Gail, into my video. So you're wondering about the stimulus. Well, I called it new update for you all. So apparently Nancy Pelosi, okay, is staying behind with Chuck Schumer to get a bill passed. Unfortunately, the problem is Mitch McConnell's going to stay in the Washington, D.C. All his counterparts are going home for their vacation. A, he knows he doesn't have the vote backing, and B, you know, he doesn't have the vote backing, and if that's what basically he said, then he might have shot himself in the foot. I'll have to look that one up. But anyway, so I wanted to share this with you all, about the thing. I'm not really into what Biden said. Biden's going to be elected anyways, the way I see it, due to the fact that there's too many people, that are unhappy with it anyways. But anyways, enough about Biden, Let's talk about the true problems here in going on in this community. So unemployment. Again, president can't come up with, or not president, the Democrats are slogging through everything day by day to get a bill passed. Okay. Yeah, well, I'll look it up later, I might as well look it up now while I talk about unemployment. So, unemployment has not been extended, okay? They're not even making grounds. Nancy Pelosi, I have to tell you a couple things about Nancy Pelosi. I saw a video that was out. Let's see if they're taking it out of context. All right, so he corrected he apologized, Gail. So technically, it doesn't mean anything. He actually apologized to them all. It was playing in day. It was given in April, and now it's August. So we can't beat the dead horse, okay, Gail? I know you might not like Biden, but still, at least at least I just looked it up for you. So basically today, they're slogging through everything. No money, nothing. Zilt. Zippity, zappity, ziltity. Why? Because of the unemployment boost. They didn't talk about stimulus checks again. They didn't talk about eviction moratoriums. This is all about unemployment, okay? So, a couple things happening. Mitch McConnell again reiterated that he's on board with anything the House passes to save Americans. America needs help, severe help. Fortunately, the problem is Mitch McConnell also stated, and I quote, that the that the American people are hurting. And I would call you Gail, but again, I can't. As you know, I am live. I can't just go off live to talk. I'm doing this video for the people. So I'm going to charge my phone up. Need to charge anyways. Battery's really low. Okay, so talk about what's going on in the world. All right. So American people are turning around, and lo and behold, right? People are complaining about unemployment, right? Oh, I need unemployment, right? So people are hurting, okay? Now, the Democrats data came out today and basically said, Chuck Schumer said that the Republicans want to put a Band-Aid on the problem. I said this a couple weeks ago. They want to put a Band-Aid on the problem while the country needs a major operation. A major operation said they're putting a Band-Aid. A Band-Aid, plain and simple. Then they had turned around, and what did they do? They turned around, and what happened to the American people? They didn't talk about stimulus checks. Now, there's people out there that really don't give two poopers about stimulus checks. Now, SSI, or if you're on, whatever government benefit, VA, people are like, oh, I've seen people, okay? Now, remember when I go through the comments, okay? I also give you my opinion on great comments, bad comments. Well, I think I'm going to give the Major Dumb Award to one person who basically said that he's on SSI and he's bringing in $583 a month, $300 less or whatever, and he says he's entitled to then he thinks he needs his $1,200 more. He wants to go shopping. He's got gifts he wants to buy and stuff, but he can't buy it, so he's complaining. I mean, literally, there's people out there starving, going hungry, no jobs coming back. They went away to the dodo bird, and look what these people are doing. Unemployment, all right? Now, you could sit there and praise Donald Trump for breaking the law. Okay, I've looked into it. I've talked to Republican and Republican Senate and Congress people that I know. They said the president doesn't have the authority to extend the eviction moratoriums. The reason the Republicans are going home, I found out, is because they don't want to deal with the drama. The president can't save too many people's housing. He can't. He can't just say, I'm evoking. No. Supreme Court would shoot it down so fast. I mean, look, he wants to say it's illegal to vote in Nevada. I'm sorry, but it's not illegal when you give the states the 9th and 10th Amendment of the Constitution. Does anyone realize the 9th and 10th Amendment of the Constitution has, good morning, Sassy. Still couldn't believe that isn't your picture. Anyways, I'm still learning this StreamYard thing. I tried it this morning. The only thing I can't figure out is here we go. Let's see how this works. All right, so I'll copy this. All right, I figured it out. Cool. So, all right, so see, I'm learning this as I go. It just takes me a bit. So technically, what's going on is the unemployment. All right, they're not getting anywhere. The president can't just go and violate the Constitutional Amendment every time he can't get his way. He's like having baby temper tantrums. I'm sorry to say. Jokingly aside, I mean, I'm not going to diss the president, but I will basically speak my mind. And frankly, right now, the 9th and 10th Amendment, the Constitution gives the states the powers to do what they need to. The president can't just step in and say, oh, well, I'm doing eviction moratorium. No, that's the state's jobs. If the states don't want to do it, I mean, one of the things that I always talk about with moderator Pee Wee is sometimes I ask her, has anyone had anything to do with how are you doing, Sassy? You over in Tall Rob's today, or are you solo? So basically what's going on is the American people, right? They're turning around, and basically no one realizes the 9th and 10th Amendment of the Constitution gives the states the leverage to do what they want. You see that in this day and age, they have to. So unemployment, nothing. Tomorrow's Friday, I called it. Tomorrow's the 7th, I called it. They said they might have a bill passed next week. Maybe next week. Meanwhile, McConnell has ordered his good old homeboys home to deal with the aftermath of the people. The Republicans are going to lose because they can't hammer out a deal. It's not the Democrats' fault. I'll explain why. They got a whole stack of papers from various universities around the country. Excuse me. I'm sorry about Belchalotomus over there, or Gassy Rexius. Half the time they fart too much. The other day I was sitting playing a game, telling you the stink was so bad I looked up and butt was next to my head. It was like, I mean, literally, I had to go take a shower. I mean, but anyways, honest. Now, the Democrats, like I said, they said it's putting a Band-Aid on it. Right now it is, whereas people need to realize the unemployment is failing. The unemployment's gone away the dodo bird. Well, I'm doing this because afterwards I decided I'm going to play my game again. And so, but I have StreamYard up and running. I'm actually experimenting with it on my own today, seeing if I can do it before asking any additional help from Rob, That's why I was wondering if you needed me to email the link or post the link in the comments. So, unemployment. They want $600. The Republicans wanted $200. The White House proposed $400, okay, supposedly. Fortunately, the unemployment extension is this. We got the data. We got the numbers. I looked them over this morning for this video. It goes like this. The numbers are $600 will keep the economy strong. That's what Pee Wee even said. Unfortunately, the problem is the $600 is not going to happen. Pelosi said $600 or else. She also said $3.4 trillion or else. The thing is Nancy Pelosi's also acknowledged that the American people know that, how do I say this with love? Yeah, that's what I said. You want me to give you a link? So basically, how do we know the American people are unhappy? They are, because they're not getting $600 a week. And the Republicans have decided to all go home tomorrow and stay home for their vacation. While the Democrats, they just said, are home, except for Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer said, it's putting a Band-Aid on the problem. Did they bring up stimulus checks? No, they're working on unemployment. And what did Nancy Pelosi say? Well, Nancy Pelosi was on TV yesterday morning, I think, and someone asked about a big injection into the economy, right? A big, massive injection of money to help float the economy before it tanks completely. And before homeless rises. Nancy Pelosi kind of like shot herself in the foot somewhat by saying, oh, the Republicans just don't give a damn on national television. She said that the Republicans pretty much, and I'm paraphrasing here, doesn't give a damn. I know my teacher, my rabbi, who's Canadian. We're the laughing stock of the entire country right now. And the bunny did it again. Fine, no, you can eat the pellets that way. You keep knocking your bowl over. Oh, well, at least you're cooking. I haven't even taken dinner out. I don't know what I'm eating tonight either, you know. Maybe I'll pull out some ground meat for hamburgers. Or dig up some lamb chops tonight. What do you think? What do you think I should have, Assassin? Maybe some lamb chops? So, no news on stimulus. Everything is focused on unemployment. Fortunately, unemployment ain't going anywhere. It's going away to the dodo bird, too. And I'm starting to think the Democrats, honestly, are right. That the Republicans don't give a damn. I mean, look, the only one staying back on vacation is Mitch McConnell. Everyone else is going home in the Republican Party. And the Democrats in the Senate's going home. Well, that leaves everyone out in the House of Representatives on vacation except for Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer. And yes, I had a beer last night. I don't really drink much. But it wasn't bad, you know. I was on someone else's StreamYard last night. Tall Rob. Great guy. So what do you think I should eat tonight, Assassin? I was thinking maybe lamb chops, maybe. Or something. I mean, I have to defrost something anyways. I just got up a little bit ago, so. See, last night's video was great, but as Chloe told me this morning, you know, when I woke up, took away from my game time, you know. Well, the other only items I have in the freezer are ramen and steaks, and I had a steak last night that was pretty damn awesome. Now, enough about food, everyone. There is no news on stimulus. I've combed through so many different channels, okay? And one of the things that I do on my channel is I will do debates, and I will also be doing, thanks to Assassin, I will do debates. I will invite people in that I think want to join. But yeah, there's nothing. I mean, Gail was completely right when she said it her best herself, and I said it too. She followed in my footsteps, and I'm proud of Gail. Is the American people shouldn't be dwelling on $1,200 stimulus check that we got in 5 minutes. They need to think about the long-term effect. The long-term effect ain't there. So, you can always eat mac and cheese. It's simple. Or find some ground lamb. But anyways. Really, that's amazing. You see, this is information that I'm happy to have from followers like Sassy because, you know, Sassy has just said it herself, that that you know, the price of meat's doubled. Yeah, it's because meat's getting expensive. You can't do it. Remember, I just said this is where I'm going with this, Sassy. The American people, he can't write an executive order for unemployment. He can't. He can't do an executive order for tax credits, which he wants. He can't. He can't do an executive order for unemployment. He can't. States are already paying unemployment, okay? Might not be what the people like, but they're getting unemployment. So he can't do that. The reason for it is the 9th and 10th Amendment of the Constitution gives the states the rights to delegate stuff that's not federal to the states. Therefore, if the states don't want to open up the eviction moratorium, it's the state's job, not the President of the United States. You can't do anything about unemployment because everyone's getting unemployment. That would be challenged in the courts already. By legalese, the courts will turn around and say they're already getting paid. We're not going to give in. Oh, yeah, I understand. Yeah, it was your picture. Sometimes I get confused. So I apologize. But no, the thing is, the 9th and 10th Amendment of the Constitution, everyone, president can't do anything. It's out of his power scope. He might want to try, but he can't. Now, the tax credits he could get away with to a point, but it would still be challenged in the courts because that's taking away Social Security. And if he's going to give a 1-week extension, he can't do it. If he's going to give a 2-week extension, he can't do it. He can't literally do it. The Constitution of the United States states, the 9th and 10th Amendment shall not be given, but only to the solely of the states. So he can't do diddly poop. Payroll tax threats, he could, but again, the American people will suffer when their checks get lower and lower to pay back Social Security. I've looked into it. The executive order and moratoriums, they can't do that because the only thing you can do is eviction moratoriums on federally backed housing loans for houses by Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, and from what I understand, anyone who's living in subsidized housing. Welcome, Jasmine. So the president can't do anything under the 9th and 10th Amendment, Sassy, so don't worry. The courts will be challenged, and the courts will overturn it. It's like Nevada. He said he filed lawsuit in Nevada for voting by mail. Unfortunately, mail is being suppressed. Now, the Postal Service says we're fine. Congress and the Senate want the answers from the current Postmaster General. He ain't answering. He's trying to delay the mail so ballots doesn't do it. We have a drop box right by the courthouse. So when my ballot comes, I will put it in the mail. How are you doing today, Jasmine? So unemployment, it ain't going to be going through right now. I said it. Mitch McConnell said it. 3 weeks minimum. They're slogging through everything and they can't come to agreement. Nancy Pelosi flat out said $600. Harvard University, Chicago University, other universities have all basically said, like 657 people have said two sets of things. $600 is a floating economy. And the same people also said that the Americans should have a monthly check during this pandemic from the federal government of approximately $2,000 or more a month. Unfortunately, that would write off the unemployment. Where do we have the money for? Now, I saw one guy basically said our budget was $5 trillion. We've superseded it. How can we just right a wrong and increase it by 14 trillion fold just to pay $2,000 a month for 18 months with retroactive? Actually, here's the thing about Amazon and Walmart, okay? Amazon and Walmart, Target actually has been paying their taxes, okay? Fortunately, the problem with Amazon, okay, it isn't Amazon's fault. I'll tell you why. Amazon isn't the problem, okay, Sassy? The real problem isn't, the real problem is Amazon isn't the problem with the Postal Service, all right? They give 2-day free shipping. It's usually UPS 2-day air, okay? Now, if it's something small, they'll send it SurePost, which means they'll send it by ground, which means longer delays. You get it to your post office. The post office delivers it the last mile and gets like a quarter. That's the problem. It's not Amazon. It's actually UPS. UPS is the problem, okay? Amazon, the problem with FedEx, for example, is in this day and age, FedEx pulled out of Amazon because FedEx was losing money, and two is FedEx was tired of getting the shaft on the amount of expenses, that they had to deliver to the post office, and FedEx had feelings towards the postal service that's failing because they're taking it all the way by FedEx ground and then handing it off to the post office. So they've stripped a contract with Amazon. No, Target uses Target and Walmart uses FedEx 2-day if you pay $35 more. So that is good. Fortunately, it's not really the Postal Service's fault. It's UPS's fault because UPS isn't renegotiating with the post office to pay the post office the last leg of the journey, which is like a quarter. So even if it's 10 or 20 miles away, they get between 25 cents and maybe $1 or less from UPS SurePost. So UPS needs to renegotiate with the Postal Service. Amazon has nothing to do with the Postal Service because Amazon doesn't offer when you order things from other companies, they ask you, do you want free 3 to 5 day shipping priority? Do you want 2-day shipping, or do you want overnight shipping? And they give you the actual prices that they have to pay FedEx or UPS. Well, you can't tax Amazon because that's for Amazon, but the only reason Amazon is getting away with paying no taxes is Amazon has a lot of charities, and that money goes into the charities, and they write it off and say, well, we've donated to charities, we don't need to pay taxes. And the other thing is the Seattle council member, I don't know her name, basically passed a thing in Seattle saying that they will start taxing Amazon because Amazon isn't paying taxes. Amazon's warehouses pay property tax, and they pay their business and corporate tax to a point. Their business and corporate tax should be right off if you have enough money to put into donations, which they did. Same goes with Walmart. Now, the problem is you can't tax Amazon because the Republicans haven't passed a goods and service tax, where the state gets extra money. Now, if the federal government did a GST, the states would throw a fit because it's unconstitutional on the grounds of Congress has to approve it, and two is the states then, SASE would lose money on the grounds that the tax company would be less for state sales tax. So I don't think you can do it. I mean, the president is doing everything he can to get reelected. And by the way, Jeff Bezos is a Democrat, and he supports the Democratic Party. So basically, the Democrats also gave him the ability through Congress and the state legislation of Washington and other states to allow food stamps to be used to buy groceries on Amazon's Prime Pantry. So to me, this ain't going anywhere. I can clearly tell you ain't going anywhere. I also told you that, the Republicans and the Democrats are going home. There's only going to be a few handful of people in the Washington Capitol Hill trying to maintain a deal. The president said again he wants to do executive action. He can't. It's against the 9th and 10th Amendment. He can't do anything. Let me put it this way. Action speaks louder than words. What the president's trying to do is trying to leverage a deal faster because he's being impatient. And two is he's trying to get reelected. And frankly, That's a big story that he's not going to get reelected. Unfortunately, there's people out there saying, "Oh, Joseph Biden shot his foot, or open mouth insert foot." He didn't do it. He's basically, the thing is Mitch McConnell and is hiding, not being part of the negotiations. The two is Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi as telling the American people, look, you need this heroes package. You need $10,000 hazard pay. There's a lot of people that are going to vote for Biden because he wants he wants to get it done, because hazard pay, a lot of people want it. If they don't get their hazard pay, they'll vote them out. The people in the families that have 3 kids, they want their $6,000, and they're going to vote out the Republicans because this bill didn't pass, because that $6,000 they can have free and clear. The families of illegals, the ones that are married to citizens of the U.S., they want their $1,200. They're going to vote out the Republican Party, because all the fine things that saved this country would save it. Unfortunately, Mitch McConnell has just basically stonewalled the entire deal. And that is where things are going down the toilet, Sassy, because, right now he's only thinking about getting reelected. He doesn't really care. He wants to leverage a deal, but he can't leverage a deal because the American people are stating, quote unquote, we want $10,000 hazard pay. We want to survive. We don't want to lose our housing, but president's trying to leverage a deal faster and it won't work. Mitch McConnell's standing saying, the president supports the bill, I support it. But Mitch McConnell also said that Senate Republicans will not support, and House Republicans won't support a $1 trillion bill. They don't want to give more money. The deficits have spiked. They're not going to give any money. Hello, Armando. No, not right now. Right now, the president's threatening executive action, which he can't do. Like you said, it's under the 9th and 10th Amendment. The states to deal with it. The states are going to give basic unemployment. Everyone else has to wait for everyone has to wait because there's no deal that's made. As Nancy Pelosi said recently, the Republicans don't give a damn about the American people. Well, yeah, the unemployment, the thing is, he's using this as a fear tactic to the Democrats. If you don't give me what I want, I will do payroll tax credits, fuck the Social Security people. I will give extension of the eviction moratorium. I will give an extension to unemployment. Fortunately, he can't do that. The states can only allocate, because under Section 1, Article 121. I'm just going to quote it like a Bible quote. Section 121 of the U.S. Constitution, Congress controls the purse strings. So Congress would just take him to the Supreme Court and say, look, he's overstepped his bounds. It's our constitutional rights as a separate entity of the governments and checks and balances to allow us to allow to allow extension of the money. No, the Republicans don't care. They're just going to let the president try to do it because they're distancing themselves from the president. I mean, literally, that's what they're doing right now. They want to get reelected. They are going to distance the president. And eventually, a Republican will speak up and say the president doesn't have the authority to do anything. This is Congress. Fortunately, Congress is getting stonewalled because the White House offered $400 a week to get it passed. Nancy Pelosi flat out said, Armando, no, $600. Fortunately, right now, that expired on July 31st, and no one's getting any unemployment checks right now. They might get it in a couple weeks, and once it's signed into law, they can start hammering out retroactive payments. But right now they can't because the unemployment has expired, and two is Congress controls the purse strings. Now, Nancy Pelosi already said it's $3.4 trillion or more. Now, the American people are getting behind her because a lot of them want $10,000 hazard pay, doctors, essential workers, etc., grocery store people, because the grocery store people weren't getting $2,400. They were working during this pandemic. So, So you support the president doing executive action, Sassy. I don't. He's violated the 9th and 10th Amendment of the Constitution, and I think the Constitution is a sacred trust that can't be trampled on any time that he can't get his way. I'm sorry to say. I mean, literally. We got 93 or 94 days to election. I've already registered to vote in this county, so I can put my ballot properly in, because I'm not going to allow my vote not to be heard. And frankly, that's the way it is. Now, as I said, if you can't control the Postal Service already said that if he decides to suppress it. By the way, President Trump went back on his word and said that the only postal services that can deliver properly is Florida and Texas. Those are two states that he could lose. So he's basically trying to suppress the voting in other parts of this country to get reelected, which, again, is an undermined tactic. Now, I don't believe, the Postal Service says they can, quote unquote, deliver all the votes in time. Problem is we'll see what happens. So, what does that tell you? Tells me the American people are literally suffering. So when you say hopefully the president does something, I don't support the president trying to do executive action. Let Congress do their job, and let the Congress and his two stooges that's working for the president, Mark Meadows and Steven Mnuchin, do it properly. Now, there's a lot of people that say, well, what about extending food stamps? Well, food stamps are running out, basically. I have read a report. That's why the states are slowing down on extending food stamp benefits for people, because the American people are unhappy. Because they're getting basic food, which is nothing. And some states are extending it, like Washington State has extended what they could, but otherwise most people aren't. There's a few states out there extending it to $200 extra a month per person, which means load up your groceries when you can, because we're in a pandemic. Oh, I agree, Gail, completely. I agree completely with your thinking. Literally, I agree completely with your thinking. I mean, they all need to be thrown out. They're not getting anything done for the American people. Start fresh. Fortunately, you got to have money, Gail, to become Congress or Senate. American people are suffering, and no one sees it that way. They just see it as they're using this as a political weapon to get reelected in the thing. Where are you going? Yeah, what do you want for dinner?
Those burgers. Burgers.
Okay. That just leaves me to dig something out then. So, you heard it from me, I don't sugarcoat anything. Right now, as I said before, and a lot of people here who watch my channel, they like my channel because I don't do clickbait where, There's people out there saying there's hope. There's hope. There isn't hope right now because, the only hope is, and I've seen a lot of people turn around, in the comments of some of these videos, quoting, again, the 9th and 10th Amendment. States are in charge. You get basic unemployment right now, you stay with basic unemployment. I mean, literally. Now, that's how I see it. The red states, I understand, aren't extending unemployment or food stamps. Now, I know Gail's in a red state, I believe. You're in a red state, right, Gail? So technically, you'll have to tell me when you check your food stamps, when your food stamp comes, if you get extra money or not. But the unemployment is not good. It's not good because the American people are suffering, and they're suffering, and yet both parties can't come together. Mr. McConnell says, if the president agrees to it, I'll agree to it. But then he turns around and says even the Republicans don't have the backing. Now, that's the thing that they're not talking about, everyone. Hold on a second. They're not talking about how President Trump's ordering an executive order, right? The president isn't even talking about how his own Republican Party, the Trumpian Party, as I call it, isn't even talking about, or Mark Meadows, or Speaker Mnuchin. This is a big topic for me, how there's not enough votes to give benefits. There isn't. What's going on is they're not. They're turning around, and they are not even talking about how the Republicans don't even have the votes in the U.S. Senate to pass a $1 trillion stimulus aid package for the people. They don't have the votes. The president's just like, well, it's the Democrats' fault. They can't get a deal passed. I'm going to do executive order. He can't do it. I mean, if you look at the political fallback, it's the Republicans' fault. They can't pass a $1 trillion stimulus package. Then damn good and well they won't pass a $3 trillion stimulus, a 3.4. Well, in the meantime, the American people are going to look at it and say, look, the Democrats came out with a good bill. We see it now. Unfortunately, if the president's got to use executive action because he's blaming the Democrats, and he's using this as a political weapon to politically attack the Democrats due to the fact that the Republicans, he's not even, him, Mnuchin, and Meadows aren't even talking about the facts of the American people suffering due to the fact that the Republicans don't have the votes in the Senate. And he said even if it went to House congressional House leaders or Congress to Republicans in the House of Representatives, they don't have the vote. They won't vote for $1 trillion. It's too much money. One of my own connections, who's in the House of Representatives, stated that if they don't have the backing of the U.S. Senate for $1 trillion, then the House of Representative Republicans don't have the backing for $1 trillion. Then he goes on to say the House Republicans and the Senate Republicans don't have the backing for $3.4 trillion. So, whose fault is it? It's the Republicans, sorry to say. The Republicans, I'm sorry to say, is basically not being talked about. And I'm playing devil's advocate here because Nancy Pelosi is clearly getting the momentum for $3.4 trillion. The American people are flooding emails and phone calls to their representatives in both the Senate and the House to say pass the HEROES Act. Unfortunately, Mitch McConnell is now basically saying if the president supports the HEROES Act, I will. But until then, nothing will pass. But he also said his own bill is not favored in the U.S. Senate, so there's not enough votes. So who's the one basically hurting here? Well, besides the American people, it's also, truthfully, both parties. Both parties. One party's spending is going to be, the polls are showing the numbers. The Dems are going to have the House and the Senate at least, which means even if the House and Senate get Democratic, the president can't. If the president gets reelected, he's not going to be able to do jack diddly shit for 4 years because he can't do anything. Because the Democrats can pass gun control, they can pass $2,000 a month, they can pass unemployment, they can pass everything. The president will just start vetoing everything because he didn't get his way, you see. So the president is trying to do anything he can to get reelected and to screw over the Democrats. The Democrats is getting the lead in the polls, and the national polls and numbers. I've looked over, I keep a tally. The Democrats are doing a lot better because the American people are, talking about voting them all out in the Republican Party due to the fact that they're pissed. There is no leadership. Mitch McConnell stays behind closed doors while he's basically sitting there doing jack diddly shit, saying if the president supports it, I will get behind it. But President Trump isn't. He's like, I'm going to do an executive action. I'm going to do an executive action. It's unconstitutional. Read your Constitution. U.S. Constitution, Section 1, Article 21 says Congress controls the purse strings. 9th and 10th Amendment state the states have the powers to delegate certain things, which means they can delegate the eviction moratorium. What he's trying to do is be a dictator, I'm sorry to say. Making America great by being a dictator is not making America great. Our democracy is on the line. Unfortunately, the American people are really scared. We have a pandemic. He's not taking ownership over it. We have a pandemic. He's not taking ownership for it. Every day you're reading stuff in the mail or in the newspapers on how he's trying to do this and do that to get reelected in any way, shape, or form with 94 days. 93 or 94 days left till the election. Just write it out. I mean, literally, just vote him out. That's what I say. Because American people are suffering and they don't deserve to suffer. A lot of Republicans, again, Armando, want the people to go back to work. They don't want to live on $600. However, Chuck Schumer said today that people need to have $600 for a safety net, and 2 is because there's no jobs. People want to go back to work, they can, but if there's no jobs to go back to, how are they going to go back to work? You see where I'm going with this? The American people need this money, and the president can't sit there and utilize giving. If he did an extension, it could be $100 or $200, which again would be a slap in the face. It's a slap in the face of what they're doing in the political spectrum. And frankly, there's nothing new to report. I've been waiting for news every day. And every day I've been giving you, or every few days, whenever I get to do these videos, I've been giving you the traditional update. And that is, nothing's happening. It's like Gail said, vote them all out. So, I don't know what else to tell you, everyone. I wish I had better news for you. I really do. Now, I will say again, the people out there on SSDI, disability insurance, retirement survivors, veterans, and railroad, they're all hungry for that $1,200. But that $1,200 won't last 5 minutes. That $1,200 won't last 5 minutes. What you need to do is curb your spending. Take that $1,200 and buy supplies. I mean, look, we're going to go into September. School's coming back in. A lot of people want the $1,200 to get school supplies for the kids. Congress ain't budging. The Democrats are trying to make a deal. Again, it's not working. Your best bet is to pull up and just wait. Do entertainment. Do stuff that you can. A lot of people also, I want to say this for the record, are worried about $1,200 for their Christmas. I mean, Christmas is, I don't know how long, but you get the idea. The American people, they're only thinking about themselves, not as a whole. When you think of themselves as a whole unit or a whole country over the wealthy versus the middle class versus the poor, you're going to see the class differences. The poor, they're only thinking about the $1,200. The middle class, they want to get back to work, but the pandemic's holding them back. Now, you all know every day when I talk about pandemic-related issues, I also go with, I don't know if Sassy likes the idea or Gail, but I always check the numbers, see if they're flattening again. Because, they say in fall and winter, we might have a second or third case. Now, we just superseded 5 million cases of coronavirus. We've superseded over 162,000 deaths. And we have, today was 58,000 cases and 1,319 deaths. And today it's 1,179 with 58,000 new cases. So it's not plateauing. It is, but it isn't. I mean, some states are finally taking the initiative to close up certain businesses again, and people are unhappy. And, Dinky, my cousin-in-law would say, don't you want businesses reopened? Yeah, but at what cost to people who don't even want to wear masks, because of it. So anyways, that's what I wanted to say, the American people are suffering, and there's not a damn thing I can do about it, because I have sympathy. There's people out there hurting. People can lose their businesses. And yet no one in their right mind is, there's a lot of people not taking this virus seriously. So that's what I wanted to share with you all, that unless you all give in, then, So, it says here, talking about unemployment, this is our channel. It says unemployed makeup artist, 2 toddlers, a disabled husband needs help with food and rent. Hotel manager says unemployment deepened his anxiety, kept him awake at night. Dental hygienist pregnant with her 3rd child is struggling for diapers and formula. Well, you got banged up every time and you're having, so, someone said people are going to be evicted in September. Governor of Ohio got coronavirus. No big feat there. A lady here lost her mother and couldn't travel from Washington. Trump Facebook deletes post on corona misinformation. Party houses defy COVID-19 will have their power shut off. Hey, I haven't seen that in a long time. Flinders Street Station in Melbourne. I've been there many times. There's a brew house next door. One of those that sells various beers from around the world. So Australia's toughest ever lockdown has turned a major city, Melbourne, Australia, into a ghost town. And so let's talk about that for a second. If Australia is turning around and giving full lockdowns to Melbourne, then why can't we as an American people put everyone in lockdown and do the same thing, the coronavirus? Because President Trump doesn't want his beloved businessmen losing their money because he's for the big businesses and the donors. He may be a businessman, but he doesn't understand that the lives of the American people come first over his business buddies. If I was president, I would shut down the entire country and I'd keep it locked down until the virus went through this and we minimized it, literally, letting people walk their dogs and get their exercise, but they would be staying indoors. I would keep it at 30-day intervals and I'd increase it to 30 days more if the virus was still spreading. And then I'd keep doing it until the virus ended, with masks being the second thing to wear. And a lot of states, not a lot of people in this pandemic want to wear masks. They think it won't affect them. Then when they get it, that's a different story. So that's how I see it. So, anyways, any questions or concerns so far? Because I'm about to log off soon and spend the rest of the day figuring dinner out and relaxing. You know, because it's what it is. So if anyone you have any faith in the president using executive power, so be it. Me, I say it's a violation of the Constitution. People don't realize this. There's people out there that will support Trump no matter what he does. Where I draw the line is where the Constitution's being trampled on because, he wants to suppress the rights of the people. He wants to suppress the rights of the people to freedom of speech and freedoms. That includes voting. That's a choice. I support the Constitution. What the president's done about his cronies is not my business. What my business is the American people. The American people are suffering to no end. And because they're suffering to no end, I'm sorry to say that, the American people, they have my heartfelt sympathies. Nothing more, nothing less. There's people out there that can lose their home, and the president can't save it because it's unconstitutional. Let me put it this way. Washington State could put an eviction moratorium until October 15th. Then people around the country that live in apartments and houses can follow Washington State's own rules to extend it by state order. President doesn't have to do it. President said, I'm going to do this because he's tired of playing footsies with the Democrats. It's not the Democrats' fault. It's Mitch McConnell's fault for hiding. And two is, it's the Republicans' fault for not even taking up a bill they don't support. That's the thing. A lot of people are now hearing in the media that they don't have the votes to vote for the bill. Therefore, the American people said, well, if you can't take the bill up to help the American people out while we're in dire needs, we're voting you out. I also want to say, in this pandemic, there's two things I do want to say about the Biden campaign. This might be a shock to you. And as I follow politics, I'm realizing that right now there's only two contenders. Two, right? Two. He's either going to choose Susan Rice, which is highly unlikely to get elected because American people need money. They're hoping for Kamala Harris. Hey, Mark. So because they're hoping for Kamala Harris, Biden's going to choose Kamala Harris. There's only two people on his list right now, and Kamala Harris is one of them. And I believe Kamala Harris is the one he's choosing. Now, if I'm right, that means he's doing it, as everyone knows, because they want money. Excuse me for 1 second. I have to use the restroom. I will be right back. Yeah, I'll watch. What do you want to talk about? Yeah. See that one lady who said this carrot should change the meaning to Wonka? You did? You didn't see it? She's like, I'm carrot in the comments. She's like, and I think that it was the Republican against Trump. She's like, I think we need to change the meaning of carrot and carrot. Yeah. Yeah. They want her jail. They want her
She's probably one of the only good trunks out there. Yeah. I bet you probably go to your last name. Look at it. Oh, we see. Yeah, we'll change it. It's a bestseller.
All right, thanks everyone for waiting. So basically, like I said, by the way, Mark, sorry about your governor getting the coronavirus. She's in the other room. She was talking to you while I was on the toilet. So basically, before I go, like I said, the American people are hurting, and the problem is, again, we need to look at the big picture here. So I got an email saying that Google was sued and there was some class action lawsuit, and I was reading it, and first said something about $1,500 per person. Then I went down the list and said at the bottom that each person might get $12 out of a class action lawsuit. $12 freaking dollars. Yeah, I mean, literally, I agree, Mark. I mean, like I said, the American people are suffering to no end. And because of it, I might take lamb chops out for dinner. It might be a good day for lamb chops. There's some lamb chops here. This is all we got. There's probably more than that. Steak's birthday coming up in a few days. More steaks. The hell? I got more steaks than I got lamb chops. There we go. Oh, there we go. More lamb chops. Good. I was wondering about that. There's lamb hearts. Lamb stew. Alright, sorry about that. Trying to get things put together for tonight's dishes, so it's all done. But anyways, like I said, Mark, the unemployment, no one's going to get anything right now. Sorry I had to dig out some lamb chops for dinner. A lot of people say, oh, well, you know, what's going on, you know. Hello, Miss C. Bailey. Don't forget that Ohio's a swing state. A swing state, yeah. Well, you know, that's what we're talking about is unemployment right now, and how the American people, Missy Bailey, has stated that they're not talking about stimulus checks, PPP loans, eviction moratoriums. The president's already saying he's going to do an executive order, but he can't, due to the fact that the Constitution allows the 9th and 10th Amendment of the states to delegate that stuff. And that is where the states lie. The states get to choose whether you get to live or not. Another thing that they're not talking about Another thing the states aren't talking about is the government controls 9 or 10 the amendment of the states. Because the states have the powers to delegate. Now, if the states have the powers to delegate, right, then why is it that the red states aren't even taking the lead. And the blue states, like Washington State, is doing a eviction moratorium. Other states could do it and get it done, but they're not. I'll tell you why. I believe the red states and the swing states are turning around and forcing the American people to be homeless. They want the American people to go back to work. And if they're not going back to work, I believe these red states are turning around and forcing the people to be homeless. That is cruel and unusual punishment, in my opinion. Yeah, that's what my father said. He actually emailed me or texted me on the phone saying that guy threatened to do executive action before he left to go to Ohio. I mean, literally. He's going to campaign there. Unfortunately, I don't think he can win Ohio. Hell, I don't think he can win Texas or Arizona. Pennsylvania has already said they're going for Biden, so tells you right there. I mean, well, yeah, and I feel sympathy for you, Missy Bailey, because you shouldn't be unemployed. They should have basically had this bill passed 3 months ago. Are you well aware that the HEROES Act was passed in May 15th? It's been sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk since then. And because of it, he won't pass it, as I was talking about earlier. Nancy Pelosi got up today and she stated, Missy Bailey, that the $600, even moderator Pee Wee said this, would float the economy. $200, that's too little because of we're not getting enough on regular wages on state unemployment. $600 was including the basic wages on unemployment. Now, Mitch McConnell offered $200. The White House offered $400. And Nancy Pelosi said flat out right today, $600. It's like putting as Chuck Schumer said, it's like putting a Band-Aid on a problem when someone's massively bleeding and they need a major operation. I mean, look at the American people here. The American people are suffering. They're using the unemployment as a political weapon. Then the president says, I'm going to write an executive action. You can't do it. The 9th and 10th Amendment trumps him. That's why some states can go in and do it before he could do it. Washington State is protected right now from eviction until October 15th. They're also extending food stamps because the American people in this state need food. They extended it in Oregon. Eviction moratoriums, I don't know about Oregon's eviction moratoriums, but California, could do the same or whatever. I mean, literally. I mean, there's states where every governor of every state can put in eviction moratoriums in place. Why don't they? I'll tell you why. It's because some of these people got their $600 a week, spend it foolishly. My neighbor, my apartment manager, came to me the other day, and besides she works part-time, she gets unemployment, she gets disability, whatever. And the entire dumpster, Missy Bailey, was filled with wine bottles. Now, I may drink wine sometimes on my channel, but I'm not an excessive alcoholic. EMS thinks I am, same sheriff, but that's a different story. The neighbor keeps filling up cases and cases and cases. When the bottles are all filled on the bottom of the recycle bin, it's big dumpster, the rest are so lazy they don't break down their boxes. Manager's been putting notices out. As soon as the eviction's lifted, we will start evicting people for not following the rules, like the bicycles under the stairs. Manager asked me, where's your bicycle or tricycle? I have a tricycle. He's got a bike in here. The point is, the American people are suffering. And yet, a lot of these people want eviction moratoriums so they don't have to pay their damn rent. Our apartment complex is looking to sell 5 buildings because A, it's backed by the federal government, which is like Freddie Mae, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. 2 is no one's paying their rent. So far, 9 people has paid their rent out of 150 apartment units in 5 buildings. That says right there a lot to know. Republicans, they don't care. If you're not paying your rent and you're in a Republican-controlled state and they're not doing eviction moratorium, they're like, fuck it. Let these bastards get a job. But what if, Missy Bailey, there is no jobs to go to? That's what Chuck Schumer said today. What if there is no jobs? As I said, the jobs go away of the dodo bird. Then what? You're out of a job. You're going hungry. You're probably worried about your electricity. You're probably worried about your internet, your phone, your food, everything that goes on with everyday life. And yet these motherfuckers in Washington, D.C. are taking a vacation, only leaving Mitch McConnell in the Senate to sit in his office to wait for a deal to pass. And he said, if I will support anything the Republican pass, or the Democrats pass, if the president gets on board. The president wants to do executive action, he can't. States have the authorities to do the executive action on moratorium evictions. The unemployment, he can't do anything. Section 121 of the U.S. Constitution gives Congress the rights of the purse strings. Congress is going to basically take him to court. He's already taking the other courts, because he doesn't think mail-in ballots are proper. Washington's been doing it for 30 plus years. We're not changing. It's safe. Fortunately, Oregon's the same. California's doing it too. He ain't taking California to court. Other states are following suit due to the pandemic. So you see what's going on here? The problem is the president can't invoke anything. You can do payroll tax credits and give people that are working, mind you, a payroll tax credit that wants. The ones that aren't, and those are mostly the wealthy, which cut out Social Security, and the wealthy have to pay it back unless he sidesteps it that says that they don't have to pay it back. Then unemployment is the same. His buddies get richer, and Social Security goes the way of the dodo bird because no one's trying to fix it. They're just kicking the can down the line. I mean, look, that's how I see it. I mean, if anyone wants to complain about this, feel free to tell me in the comments below, because I'll answer all your questions. Right now, Speaker Pelosi stated that on national TV, the Republicans don't give a damn. They don't. All the Republicans are going home after tomorrow. All the Democrats went home. Apparently, the rumor is that Pelosi and Schumer are the only ones that are in D.C., working with Mark Meadows and Secretary Mnuchin. Everyone else has gone home. They will call a vote if they pass something. But, as old Mitch McConnell said, he doesn't have the backing for a $1 trillion bill, let alone a $3.4 trillion bill. The Republicans will never buy it. So who's at fault here? The Democrats, who's going into all these meetings trying to basically hammer out a deal? Or the Republicans, including Mitch McConnell and the president saying, I'm going to do an executive action. Whereas old Turtle Face is like, if the president supports it, I support it. But I don't have the backing for a $1 trillion bill in the Senate under my leadership. And we know the Republicans won't vote for it in the House, so it's dead. Meanwhile, the American people are suffering. They're gobbling up every piece of camping equipment, every fishing tool they can get. Hi. Want to say hello to the people? You want to say hello to the people? Moppy wants to say hello to people. Hello, everyone. My name's Moppy. I'm a dog. I'm a service dog. You don't cuddle with me much. I cuddle with you all the time, but you never cuddle with me. But I just want to say for the record that anyone who has dogs, those dogs are suffering too. They might not have food because their owners don't have unemployment. So think about the precious animals that are innocent in this whole mess, where they're going hungry. Hi. If everyone knows I'm a dog lover, my service dog Moppy here loves me. He's traveled with me so many times. But yes, anyways. I hope you guys understand the furious and frustration that I have for the Republican Party. They're the ones basically trying to blame the Democrats. The Democrats know how to fix this country. But you got these Trumpians, I like that name, who think, the man can't do any wrong. Well, maybe they need to read the Constitution because I've read it, I've looked it over, I've talked to Republicans that I know that's in my former districts and other people, and they all say the same damn thing. The American people are suffering. And yet, President wants to do something because he wants to get reelected. He ain't going to get reelected even if he basically did an executive order because he'll be shot down at the Supreme Court. And the American people will gobble it up and vote him out anyways for doing this. Now, there's people out there, maybe it's his fan base that's going homeless and hungry. So he's got to fuel the fan base to get them to reelect him because that's the only way he's going to be reelected. I mean, look, I don't care right now. What I care about is the American people. I don't give two shits about the presidency. I don't give two shits about people turning around and trying to tell me to vote for him. I've registered. That's all you need to know. Who I vote for is my damn business. And frankly, I don't believe that both parties, Republicans or Democrats, are innocent. I believe they're both at freaking fault. The Democrats passed the bill. And now Mitch McConnell says one of his excuses for not debating the bill is, well, we didn't have enough votes back in the Senate back then for this bill. Really? And now you don't have enough votes for your own bill. Does that make sense? He's just basically waiting to get reelected so he can kill the American people. If Amy McGrath wins Mitch McConnell's seat, that would turn the tides. People are already saying they're going to the polls in Kentucky voting the old white rhino turtle out. They don't want to deal with him anymore. They want what they want. And they want what they want. Now, like I said, look at the politics side of things. He chooses if, and I quote, there's two people that would benefit the best. One, Susan Rice, they say would benefit him the most for the African Americans. But that might not give him into the White House. If he uses Kamala Harris, he's got it instantly because everyone will be on board with $2,000 a month as soon as possible. Retroactive. Now, does that tell you what it happens? I'll play it out by the handbooks, okay? My own political handbook, my own play-by-play. Remember, when people tune into this channel, they don't think I sugarcoat anything. They like it that way. They don't like the clickbait son of a bitches. They like my channel. Even though I have a small following base, they like my channel because I don't sugarcoat this shit. Now, I've said it a week ago, 2 weeks ago. The American people are turning around and they're waiting. I've said it first here. They're not going to get anything passed until September. They won't. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer is the only one in these luncheons with Mark Meadows and Speaker Mnuchin. No one else. Donald Trump's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do an executive order. But he can't do it. It's against the Constitution. The Republicans don't have the votes in their own caucus. Mitch McConnell turned around the other day and said, look, distance yourself from the president if it means getting reelected. What's that tell you? They're basically hoping that he loses. Literally. They're tired of being part of the Trumpian cult. They want to get on with their lives.
You do.
And yet, again, they don't have the backing. I mean, look, it's 93 or 94 days until the end of the frickin' till election day. The American people, they're done. Well, let them rig it. If they want to rig it for Biden, let them. I support it completely. Because frankly, in my opinion, the Black Lives Movement, they want their voice heard. Destruction and chaos, yes. But they shouldn't be doing it. The problem is they're saying the Democrats don't have the backbone to arrest these people. The problem isn't the Democrats. I'll tell you what it is. I was talking to a guy last night. Great guy. Basically, if they decided to burn down the federal building, charges should be pressed. If they're throwing things at federal agents, charges should be pressed. But if they're protesting peacefully, leave them alone. Problem is picking up people and putting them in unmarked vans is not democratic. That is a dictatorship. That's a secret Gestapo police. And I don't support that.
Like the Nazis.
I don't, Russians.
They want to silence people for having, don't want a voice. They want to silence anyone who opposes them.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. And all of a sudden, the American people drummed them out of their states. Now, the president can't use that. Basically, the president, what he's doing is he's basically doing a sideshow of a sideshow. I've said this many times. He'll sit there and say, I'm going to send 150,000 people out to. Now, that's my study guide. Yeah, I've been looking for it. So the other day, thank you. So the other day, he turned around and he's doing sideshow of a sideshow. 75,000, 100,000 people, sending them out, That's a sideshow. The Democrats literally won and got them out. Now he's doing a sideshow of the Postal Service. American people are raged about their mail being delayed. He wants to blame it on cost-cutting measures. The real reason he's trying to delay the election, which is a dirty, underhanded tactic. I've never seen this dirty politics in my life. I've not seen once Biden basically say anything that I know of that basically takes Biden out of character. Yeah, he might be senile, but you know what? That's why he's putting his vice president selection. But Ronald Reagan had Alzheimer's. That didn't stop him from doing his job. I mean, everything is a sideshow with the president. He's trying to delay everything. Well, yeah, Chloe is right, Mark. Everything is a sideshow. President of the United States, if he can't get it one way because he's being impatient, he'll do executive action, which will blow up in his face. He's already going to blow up in his face when it comes to pushing for, which reminds me, I need to check on something real quick, everyone. Okay. So my cookies are good till October. I was wondering when these expired.
October.
Yeah. Anyways, the point I'm being, what about these ones? October. So the bottom line is, see, I'm good. Cookies galore. But anyways, the bottom line is the American people. By the way, Mark said you're right on what you said.
Mm-hmm. What about?
He said you're right on the thing we're talking about with politics.
Yeah. People are just fed up.
They'll vote anyone to get him out. But like I said, if Biden uses Susan Rice, I think his campaign chances are slim, if none. If he chooses Kamala Harris, he's got the presidency because everyone will back her to get that stimulus check. $2,000 a month. Everyone will be on board with it, even if it.
I think he's going to choose Harris.
Even if. Well, let's see what Mark thinks about your opinion of Harris. Even if it bankrupts the country, they will choose Harris to get the taxpayers to vote for. I mean, there's only 2 running mates right now, and they say there's only 2. CNN claims Rice, and sometimes I think CNN's And another news, President Trump's looking to cause World War III, by the way. And I do have so it says here, North Korea and Iran, Donald Trump said he is giving military options, fearing the president might accidentally take the U.S. to war, and deliberately inform their counterparts, both countries, that they did not know what president would do next. The madman theories, huh? Calling Trump a dotard. Yeah, I remember that. Iran. Let's see. Trump's unpredictability sometimes had permeated, globe from Iran to North Korea to Canada and Mexico to NATO allies. Trump's unpredictability is not a national secret. U.S. adversaries were keenly aware that one of Pfizer's intelligence or partners. All right, so basically we might go to war. A new news article came out about stimulus updates. I will give you that. So, you guys want the update. So, it says, after a 3-hour meeting today, Thursday evening, between senior administration officials and Democrat leaders, yielded little progress as both sides seems resigned to the likelihood that Congress won't reach a major stimulus deal amid an economic crisis. See, I told you. Let's have a couple Skittles while we talk. Both sides emerged from the meeting trading blame for the sputtering talks, and the administration official warned President Donald Trump would take executive action if no deal is reached by Friday. Can't do a deal. Everyone went home. What said the White House Chief of Staff Mark Rutte slammed his hand on the table, something that Meadows denied. I don't know what she's talking about. Difference remains as they have been Democrats do something big. In the words of Pelosi, the Trump administration wants a skinny bill. In the words of Meadows, on one of the biggest sticking points to aid to state and local governments. We are very part most unfortunate, Pelosi said. They're disappointed in the meeting. They're unwilling to meet in the middle. Chuck Schumer said, see? President and Meadows indicated very far apart from Democrats on major issues. I think a lot of issues we are close to a compromise position on. I think there's a handful of very big issues that we're still very far apart on, Mnuchin said. Trump called the officials 2 or 3 times, urged them to continue negotiating. Could conclude tomorrow without a deal. Trump will take executive action once he can. Rejected a possibility of short-term extension of federal jobless benefits during her news conference, taking a hard line demanding that Congress approve a large-scale stimulus package that the White House so far has rejected. Without having a short-term extension, without Democrats ruling out an interim extension of the last federal benefits, talks collapse signal that they're restoring the benefit will be contingent on the White House and Democrats cutting a broader deal. But so far elusive. White House Chief of Staff saying that recent two sides are trillions of dollars apart. And he entered Pelosi's office Thursday evening. Meadows said, if we don't reach the top line number, there becomes very little incentive to further conversation. At this point, we're still at $3.4 trillion going north. At some point, compromise has to have a dollar sign in front of it. Meadows wouldn't say if the White House top number is currently, but see, they're hiding it. We are north of where our initial offer was, which was $1 trillion. So he has a glimmer of hope a deal can be still reached. Pelosi indicated no willingness to back off the demand. The level 600 a week. We have said that we're going to have 600. She said, adding, they know that's what we want. Why this man up program, it's almost all economists are saying is working, and some people put news in its place that will take months to go into effect. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer joined Pelosi at her presser. Federal enhanced benefits are provided additional 600 week to individuals receiving regular state unemployment visit was added as a boost to help bump the economy from fallout from the pandemic. It now has expired. However, as negotiations remain at impasse over disagreements over the scope, scale, details, and new stimulus measures, sparking fears the deal may not be reached at all. I'm not going to blame the Democrats for this one, it's the Republicans. They're going to want to take a piecemeal approach to the deal. Republicans accuse Democrats acting in bad faith as they deal with the internal divide with their own party, complicating effort to strike any deal. A significant number of GOP senators hesitated to back any deal. Massive price tag after Congress has already approved trillions in the coronavirus relief already. The Democrats in Congress are unified. Same time, Republicans are disarrayed. Senate Majority Leader said that he won't adjourn the Senate for the August recess Thursday evening. However, previous scheduled negotiation of the COVID response. The stimulus package went forward. He said senators can go home and go 24 hours notice return for a vote on a deal if a deal is reached. He will stay behind in D.C. McConnell added he won't wait forever and will adjourn for August if the Democrats make clear they won't cut a deal. But the Senate won't adjourn for August until the Democrats demonstrate they will lead an agreement materialize. A lot of Americans from a lot of American lives are riding on the Democrats' endless talk. I hope they're not disappointed. Posted on Thursday, she's a light at the end of the tunnel, but she warned we have to move quickly and more quickly because right in the tunnel maybe a freight train of the virus coming at us. We do not act to contain it, which is true. Speaker sounded skeptical and dismissive when a reporter asked about the possibility Donald Trump should take executive action. There's no deal. And what is he going to act upon? I don't think they would know what they're talking about. The one thing the president can do is extend a moratorium. That would be a good thing if there's money to go with it, and that's what we keep telling them. Looking later at who thinks administration can move money around without congressional approval. You can't move that much money. We're talking a major investment. Negotiations continue. A number of issues emerge as sticking points, including how to address the lapse of unemployment benefits. Funding the U.S. Postal Service has become a major issue in the talks. Schumer provided inside demand to Postmaster Louis DeJoy after their heated meeting on Wednesday at Pelosi's office. Schumer told CNN they are demanding that all 100% of mail-in box delivered by Election Day. Also on Wednesday, Schumer said that the response they got were inadequate. Said the meeting they called DeJoy to pull back on these cutbacks on overtime employees that mail can be delivered on time on Election Day, not 94%, or 97%. After the DeJoy Democrat leaders, the USPS will be able to guarantee 100% will be delivered. Schumer said, I don't want to say what they said, but we pushed it. It's going to be 100%, not 94%, and not 97%. Finally, at the end, it says Schumer asked for $10 billion would be sufficient up the budget woes. We'll figure out what they need. We don't fully trust them with everything Trump has said about the post office and their Trump employees. So there you go, American people, right there. No deal for Thursday. Go figure. Or there'll be a deal on Friday. Or there'll be an executive action. Nope. Like Pelosi said, they can't move that much money around. No, $2,000 won't be enough. I mean, look, $1,200 is not enough. The thing is, Trump, look, Trump can't do executive orders under the Constitution of the American people. Constitution of the American people, 9th and 10th Amendment gives eviction moratoriums to the states. Unemployment, they're getting unemployment, so they shouldn't worry. Everyone wants to help supercharge the economy with a $600 benefit, which is stabilizing the economy. Inactive classic sites?
How you doing?
I'm fine. So, basically what I'm trying to tell you all is the American people even if it's $2,000, it won't be it doesn't matter. He won't be voted because it's a one-time payment. What the American people need is recurring payments, Mark. They're not getting recurring payments. $2,000 might be spent in 10 minutes, maybe 15 if you're lucky. But that's it. I mean, literally. The thing is, $2,000 ain't gonna amount to anything. And besides, without a stimulus deal, Mark, there is not gonna have any money available. You see where it's going? They're fighting over unemployment. They're not even talking about a stimulus check. The president can't just executive order a stimulus check out of thin air. Congress controls the purse strings. Hold on, let me look up something. I just read something here that's really interesting about state sales tax, okay? Now, if I'm reading this correctly, you know how we have to pay state sales tax, and anything we buy from another state, we have to pay state sales tax. But Section 9, Article 5 of the Constitution says no tax or duty shall be laid on articles exported from any state. Okay, that's exported, not imported. It was imported, Yeah, so I'm trying to look for something real quick. So yeah. The enumeration of the Constitution, certain rights shall be not construed to deny, disparage others retained by the people. Okay. Article 10. Power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution or prohibited by the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. So, yep. So there you go. So there you have it. Right here. The Congress shall have the power, Section 1, Article 1. Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, imposts, and excess to pay the debts and provide for common defense and general welfare of the U.S., but all duties, imposts, and excess through the United States. So basically, it says to borrow money, Congress. President can't do it. Regulate commerce, coin money, punishment, counterfeit, suppose. Here you go. To establish post offices and roads under Congress. To declare war, grant letters of marque and reprisal, make rules concerning captures of lands and waters, raise or support an army, but no appropriation of money that use shall be used no longer than 2 years. See? There you go. To provide for the calling forth of the militia to execute the laws of the Union, suppress insurrection, and repeal invasions. That's us, the militia. To provide for organizing, arming, and disciplining the militia, and for governing such part of them may be employed in the service of the U.S., reserving the states respectively appointed the officers and the authorities of training the militia according to the disciplines. All right, so exercise exclusive legislation in all cases. Congress has to consent for the state in which same shall be for the erection of forts, magazines, arsenal, dockyards, and other needful buildings, and to make laws which will necessitate proper carrying and execution the foreign going powers and other powers vested in the Constitution of the government. There you go. No money should be drawn from the Treasury, but in consequence of appropriations made by law and regular statements and accounts of receipts and expenditures of all public money shall be published from time to time. See, there you go. Let's see. Each state shall appoint and manner the legislation. The electors will meet. Section 2 says President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and the Navy only, and of the militias of the several states when called into actual service. The U.S. He may require the opinion of a principal officer. The U.S. will have the power to grant reprieves and pardons for offenses against the U.S. except in cases of impeachment. High crimes and misdemeanors, we know that. Article 3. On Supreme Court. Congress shall have the power to declare the punishment for people committing treason. There you have. There we have it. Oh, Congress controls the purse strings. President can't do jack diddly shit. So, there you have it. The American people are tired. President can't do anything. Executive action won't work. Well, he thinks he's making America great. He's actually making America bad. So, So basically, Trump's playing favorites yet again when it comes to Texas and Florida because he knows he needs to win it. In my opinion, it ain't going to happen. So, hoping for who is. So, the American people are suffering. And everyone playing politics. I don't like it one bit at all. So, there you have it. There you have it. Playing politics. I, for one, I'm going to say this once and once only. I will back the man and the Congress and Senate that can do their job. I would do the same for you. I would recommend you do the same. Think about who you're voting for. Keep it to yourself. And plain and simple. There you have it. So, that's it, everyone. No news till maybe tomorrow. And then we'll see what the president's really capable of doing. So, that said, it's game time for me. Please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestion. Hit the like and subscribe button. It's also funny for your families, including your dogs, your cats, your bunnies, your service dogs. Hit the bell notifications. New content's updated all the time. Thanks for watching, everyone, and tune in for another video tomorrow. And God bless you in everything you do.
There, game on. That's all I was going to say.